Hey everybody, welcome back to Review a Day, episode number 180. I'm Leland, and thank you guys for joining me. Do me a favor, head over to nitpickit.com and check out the new episode of the Nitpickit podcast, episode number 38, which is quite a few episodes now. We do reviews of Paranormal Activity, the straight-to-DVD horror film Trick or Treat, which a lot of people have asked me about, Couples Retreat, I Hope They Serve Beer in Hell. Check it out. I thank you in advance. The film review I'm doing for you guys today is the highly anticipated Where the Wild Things Are. This was actually the #1 film of my most anticipated films of the second half of 2009. So I was very, very excited about this movie. Newest film from director Spike Jonze, who's directed some really just terrific films, Being John Malkovich, Adaptation. He also directed some so many terrific music videos. The Weezer Buddy Holly video of Weezer at Arnold's is one of my favorite music videos of all time. If you haven't seen it, it's a really great video. This movie stars Max Records, Catherine Keener. Both of these two people appear in the film. You also have voice actors playing these different monsters. You've got James Gandolfini, Catherine O'Hara, Chris Cooper, and Lauren Ambrose. It's always great to see Claire Fisher in anything. And I was just very excited about this movie, but I was also very nervous because that trailer, the first trailer we saw for this film was just incredible. It really was. It's just one of the best trailers I've ever seen. And I was really nervous because the last trailer that I really responded to was The Curious Case of Benjamin Button. And I thought that movie left quite a bit to be desired. I was really let down by it. So I went in a little apprehensive into Where the Wild Things Are, but very excited. And I have to say, this movie is pretty damn great. I really, really liked this movie. And I think one of the reasons this movie works so well is because of Spike Jonze's direction. The guy can direct the shit out of anything. And there were times of this movie where I really felt like I was watching Let the Right One In. The first 20 minutes of this movie, especially the kid in the snow outside playing alone, really reminded me of Let the Right One In. And I think Spike Jonze really captured the tone of this book, and the movie does a lot of justice to the book. It really has that same spirit, and it really follows the plot in a lot of ways. I won't say too much, but I think the spirit of this book and the spirit of this film and the vibe of it is one thing I definitely really enjoyed. This is not a children's film, and I felt kind of bad for a lot of the kids in the theater because this is not a children's film. Spike Jonze here, I think, has made a film about childhood that I don't necessarily know is going to entertain a lot of people. There's no epic journey. There's not some lesson to be learned. It's a pretty, emotionally, I think it's a pretty mature film. I think it's more about looking back at childhood than it really is a film for kids. So I think a lot of kids really aren't going to be entertained by this movie. And I think one of the reasons is because there's really not a driving force to the story. And if I have a problem with the film, it's that. I think it is this kind of meandering, really interesting stuff, but I do think after a while, the movie just felt a little bit long, I think is the only thing. It's definitely from the perspective of Max. This entire world takes place in his head. So all the characters are kind of childish and everything like that. And I did get a little bit tired of that after a while. A little bit goes a long way, but I think that's a bit kind of a minor nitpick to this movie because I think ultimately it still really is a fantastic film. And I think aesthetically it's one of the most beautiful films I've seen all year long. I think Spike Jonze he's just one of my favorite directors, and the special effects in this movie are some of the best I've ever seen because it's not spectacle. The special effects in this movie are integrated into the movie, and the faces of the kind of Big Bird style, puppetry costume is so great to look at, and everything feels like it's there. Everything feels weighted, and you could feel like you could reach out and touch these creatures. And I just absolutely loved it. There were times where I felt like it was kind of like Miyazaki come to life, where you just get to see some truly fantastic things. The voice acting was great. It dragged on a little bit, but that's the only thing I can say about this movie. I really, really loved it. I give Where the Wild Things Are a really, really strong 4 out of 5. See this movie. Hopefully there won't be as many children in the theater as when I saw it, but it's a really great movie. If you guys like this review, make sure to head over to nitpickit.com or dampercast.com. Check out the podcasts I do. Rate and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.